welcome in to Tom's Corner. I'm Brian Hawkins, and good morning, Tom. How are you?
Brian, doing good.
That's great. Now, this
Happy
week...
Halloween, by the way.
Oh, I forgot. Yes, it is Halloween.
Right.
You got your costume all picked out?
I do. Yeah. I'm going to dress up as a chipmunk.
Oh.
You know, the Chicago Bears, that C on their helmet?
Right.
Yeah, that's what that stands for, chipmunks.
Take pictures. We'll all want to see that. But last week we talked about bioptic telescopes and those who might be losing their licenses, and you have more information about driving.
Well, it's really a hot topic. Recently, we've talked with a lot of folks who are near the verge of driving and not driving. And I talked about all the rules that are involved in a low vision driver's license in the state of Illinois for what's called bioptic telescope or bioptic driving. I believe that there's a good website. I haven't gone there recently. I hope it's still there. It's called biopticdriving.org. So bioptic is BIOPTIC driving, biopticdriving.org. And this might give you a hint as to what these glasses look like, what the rules are. The rules are very strict, but some people really do qualify and so forth. So, I think back of my own personal days when I was struggling with vision. Mm-hmm. One of the first things I noticed was that I could not function very well when there was a lot of sunlight or glare. Many people with macular degeneration have that trouble where the eye can no longer filter out glare. And so sitting in a restaurant, for instance, with my back to the window, I can see everything. If I'm facing the window, I can't see a thing. I can't see people's faces. Mm-hmm. I knock things over on the table, and it's really crazy. So I think back to my little Volkswagen when I was in my early 20s, and I'm sitting at a stoplight, right? And the sun's in my eyes, and the light turns green. I can kind of see that. And so everybody starts to go. But then the guy in front of me maybe tapped on his brakes and came to a hesitation. And guess what? The old boom right in the back, because I didn't see his brake lights. And so I go on a couple of weeks later, the light turns green. Same thing. It's like boom, like that. And I'm thinking, this is not good, My friends one day called me and told me a very similar story. I said, "Oh, they have a club for that now. It's called the Rear Enders Anonymous." Because we had to laugh or cry. It was either one or the other. And the other thing we call it is the Right Turn Only Club, because we know that we don't want to get in a high-speed accident turning left in front of somebody that we didn't see. And it's amazing when I think back psychologically what you're going through when you're having to make a decision to give up that car. And that was really, really a hard one for me. I remember when I was working at the Wheaton Eye Clinic, and I was meeting with a patient, and I was telling him, I said, it was one of the hardest things I had to do, but the fact that nobody took my license away, you really ought to consider giving up your license. I told this fella flat out. I said, 6 months from now, you're going to be able to hold your head up high and say, look, I did this myself. Mm-hmm. My daughter, my son didn't take my keys away,
How did you take it?
So I thought I was like doing a really good job, right, of counseling him. So he came back for a follow-up visit, and he said, Tom, I decided to give up my license. And I'm thinking, wow, I'm really a good counselor. But he didn't tell me the story. And the story was, in the first visit, he was coming down the street, and it was a light snow that day. It was in the wintertime. And so there was snow on the ground, and he's coming past a little school that was right near our eye clinic, right? And he saw a little child standing on the corner. So he said when he got to the corner, he stopped the car and he waved his hand like, go ahead. And the child didn't move. And so he waved his hand even harder, like, go ahead. And the child didn't move. And he thought, I don't know what's going on. So he's put the car in park. And he said, I just went ahead and I got out and I figured I'll help this little child cross the street. And when I walked up to this green thing with a yellow top, which I thought was a child, it was a fire hydrant.
Oh, no.
So
that convinced him.
That convinced him that, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be driving. And that's one story that came to my mind. The other was a patient that I had, a woman who we had similar conversations, and she told me this story where she was coming through downtown Wheaton, and she did not see that the gates were down for the commuter train, and she actually crashed through the gate, with her car. She had a big Oldsmobile or something, and had the presence of mind to throw it in reverse, and she got out of the way of a speeding train within like 5 or 10 seconds.
Wow.
And I thought, this is what's so powerful, is this thoughts that in our mind we think we can make it through. And psychologically, the denial or the not being able to admit that we have a handicap now. We have we don't see ourselves that way, and how powerful that can be. So I often talk to patients directly about some of these stories and how you really ought to consider what it's like. So coming to a low vision consultation where we can meet with doctors and occupational therapists, you can meet with myself and some of our technology team. We have lots and lots of solutions for people, and we have lots and lots of hope. And we can talk frankly about some of these topics with you. And we can find out other things that are going on in your life, besides driving or not driving, about reading, about using the computer, about learning a smartphone, about learning a tablet. Smartphones aren't phones anymore. They're computers that can really help you to do any kinds of tasks, reading. They can help you to identify the color of your clothing with little apps. You can identify your money. So you got all these solutions that are out there, and people need to know about them. So give us a call and find out more about it. Our retail store here in Chicago is 1-800-919-3375. 1-800-919-3375. Make an appointment. Come in. Just say you want to sit down. We have a table and chairs, and we can talk for an hour and show you many of the things. There's no charge for our first appointments with our team, or if you want to see me directly, you can. In Glenview, you call 847-510-6200. 847-510-6200 if you live near Glenview, to the Chicago Lighthouse North, and they will sit down and show you many, many things that are out there to help you.
And there are tons of those things.
There are.
Now, what there isn't a lot of left, and that would be road shows. You've got one more for this year.
We got one more coming up on November 10th, and it's going to be in Des Plaines, my hometown. And we're looking forward to seeing you from 10 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. It's an open house. I think they even want me to stand up and give a little talk, which they did last time. But this is kind of a neat facility right on the corner of River Road. It used to be called the Heritage. Now it's called the Brookdale Plaza, right on the corner of River Road and the railroad tracks there at Northwest Highway. So if you live in the northwest suburbs, come by, get to meet me and Luke and Eric and Sandra. Our team will help you and show you things that are out there to help. And then we're going to hibernate for the winter, and we might not be on the road again till March. So this might be a good chance to come and talk to us.
Yes, go see the show, folks,
right,
for the final show of 2015. Well, he's Tom Persky, of course. I'm Brian Hawkins, as always. This is The Beacon.